Hi everybody, this is Cheryl Richardson. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm here with my friend Bob, who's recording the video. Say hi, Bob.
Hi.
There you go. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the online web course that I'm doing with Hay House starting on February 12th, based on my book, The Art of Extreme Self-Care. And this past week, I went to my Facebook community and I asked people to tell me some of the challenges they're faced with when they attempt to practice good self-care. So I also want to answer some of the questions as a way to kind of give you more information about the course too. So on February 12th, I will be launching this year-long program, and we're going to talk about one very specific act of self-care you can practice every single month for 12 months. It's part of the reason I wrote the book that way. I broke it up into 12 chapters because it's so easy to get overwhelmed with all the things we can do to take good care of ourselves. And I know, I want to set you up for success, and that means giving you just one simple thing every single month to do. So that's going to start on February 12th. I'll be taking your calls then. We'll be talking about some of the challenges you're faced with, and then I'm going to prepare you for spending a year with me. That's what we're going to do. We're going to spend a year together taking really good care of you. So I'm going to go right to the questions because it's going to help me to give you more information. Gina on Facebook said, when I really get honest, I find what stumps me most is being overwhelmed with all of the self-care I need to do, and she capitalizes all. Meditate, exercise, prepare healthy foods, read nourishing books, pampering. Okay, Gina, I'm exhausted just thinking about that. I find I can pick one and commit to it, but then everything else falls away. Again, that's one of the reasons we're taking a whole year and dedicating it to your self-care, because really, Gina, what you need to do is just pick one. Just one of them, exercise or meditate or eat well. And here's the funny thing. When you pick one, you do two things. Number one, you set yourself up to succeed because chances are you'll be consistent with just one thing. But the other cool thing that happens is when you pick one act of self-care, it often takes care of all the other stuff. So for example, if you were to just pick exercise, you'd probably find that you'd be eating better, your mind would be calmer, you'd probably be reading novels because you'd be just more relaxed and more into enjoying yourself instead of trying to fix everything. We get so caught up in trying to fix everything. So you need to just go, you need to focus on one small step at a time. And when you do that, there's a really good chance that you'll begin to make your self-care a priority. It's really, really important. As a matter of fact, let me just say that last April, I did the same thing. I made a decision to pick one thing that would improve my health, and I chose walking. And I started walking every day. I scoped out a 4-mile loop in my neighborhood, and every single day I'd go out and I'd walk. And that one act of self-care did a whole bunch of things. Yeah, it helped me to lose weight. It helped me to get in shape. It made me eat better. It cleared my mind. It strengthened my relationship with myself. I mean, it was amazing. That only one commitment. It was amazing what it did in terms of improving the quality of my life. So I strongly recommend that you do that. Terry writes, I've spent most of my life taking care of other people, and I've been a full-time mom for 32 years. Bless you, Terry. I don't think about myself until late on the list. I'm working at it, but whenever something comes up, my automatic response is to give up or to help somebody else. I don't know what to do. Well, just the other day, I was on my way to a meeting. I had a really busy day, Terry. And as I was driving in the car, my husband, Michael, called and he said to me, hey, honey, can you do me a favor? On your way home from your meeting, could you stop at the pharmacy and pick up a prescription I have there? And I went, oh, yeah, sure. And then I stopped and I went, you know what? Actually, I can't do that. I've got a really busy day. I have a lot of things scheduled, and while I could squeeze it in, it would really stress me out. So can you do me a favor and pick it up yourself? And he said, yeah, sure, that's fine. He sounded a little disappointed, I'll be honest with you, but he said, no, don't worry about it. I hung up the phone, and I instantly felt guilty. And I felt guilty because it's a normal response of someone who's been trained to be a caregiver all their life to naturally want to take care of somebody else. And when you don't do it, it's just so easy to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm letting this person down. But in that moment, I realized what was more important than Michael's prescription or doing this errand for my husband. What was more important was me breaking this habit of making everybody else's needs a priority over my own. And that's just a simple little way that we do that. I'm sure, Terry, you have plenty of examples like that in your own life. And I just really want to encourage you to be conscious, at least become aware, self-aware of this habit that you have to take care of others. You're already on the right track. I mean, you already see what's going on here. It's just a habit, and it can be broken. And it can be broken with grace and love in a way that really supports your relationships, and most importantly, supports your relationship with yourself. Okay, next question. This is from Christina. My biggest obstacle to self-care is guilt. Welcome aboard, Christina. I feel guilty when I'm taking care of myself and not my kids or my husband or the house. Guilt sucks. Okay, Christina, this was probably the most common theme out of all of the challenges that came through on Facebook. Lots of people talked about guilt. So here's your homework, Christina. I want you to start doing one thing every day that makes you feel guilty. I'll say that again. I want you to practice doing one thing every single day that makes you feel guilty, and here's why. Guilt, you're never going to reach a point in your life where you don't feel guilty and then you can take care of yourself. Like I said, it's a normal response to feel guilty when you start making your needs a priority. What we want to do is start to desensitize you to feeling guilty. So here's the goal. This is so important for everybody to know. It's not that guilt goes away. Remember the story I just told you? The goal is to shorten the amount of time that you suffer with guilt. So that with Michael, when he asked me to run that errand, I felt guilty for like maybe 30 seconds. Then I knew what was going on and I let it go. But there were times in my life where I would have felt guilty all day. I would have gone and picked up the prescription. I would have felt guilty for a week. I would have felt like I had to do 10 things to make up for it. Not anymore. The goal is to practice doing those things that evoke that feeling of guilt so that you can just get used to feeling it, experiencing it, and letting it go. So you've got your homework, Christina. Okay, next question from Teresa. Boundaries. My challenge is setting boundaries with other people. I do very well alone, but my life becomes chaotic when I get into relationships. I don't know how to ask for what I need, or I don't know how to tell people when they say or do something that's inappropriate, especially when it's happening. I wait and it builds up, and then I destroy relationships. I picked this challenge because that's exactly what happens to all of us. When we don't speak up for ourselves, when we don't ask for what we need, when we don't set limits or boundaries with somebody who's being inappropriate, we wind up feeling resentful. And most of the women I have dealt with over the years live in a state of chronic resentment. It's not good for your health, your emotional or physical health. It's not good for your spiritual health. And it's absolutely not good for your relationships because most people can feel a resentful woman or man a mile away. It's not pretty, and it doesn't evoke intimacy. It doesn't encourage intimacy. So, Teresa, there's a whole class that we're doing in terms of, in the middle of this year-long program, there's a whole class called Let Me Disappoint You, which happens to be the most popular chapter in the Art of Extreme Self-Care. And in that class, I'm going to talk about the importance of setting boundaries and how to set boundaries with grace and love. Do you know that probably the reason you can't set boundaries is twofold? Number one, you don't have the language to set boundaries in a way that leaves you feeling good about yourself. You haven't thought about it and planned for it. And number two, sometimes we have people in our life who blindside us, who act in an inappropriate way. We expect ourselves to be able to handle it on the spot. And when we don't, we beat ourselves up afterwards. I do the same thing. Listen, I'm a really good boundary setter. And when somebody steps over my boundaries or criticizes me or says something inappropriate, especially in front of other people, I get completely tongue-tied. But I know how to walk away, take a deep breath, process what happened, get clear about what I need to say, and then pick up the phone or get in front of that person and set the boundary afterwards. So during the course, we're going to talk about boundaries is a big conversation. I'm very fond of saying that if you were to dedicate the year just to setting boundaries, you would not be the same human being at the end of 12 months, without a doubt. So Teresa, listen, one little step at a time. Learn, get comfortable with the word no. Get comfortable with the word stop. get comfortable with, it's not okay with me. I love you, but that's not okay with me. Okay, Joanne writes, one of my biggest challenges is going to bed when I should instead of fighting it. I picked this one also because sleep was another common challenge that people are faced with. If I don't get a good night's sleep, I am a bitch, quite frankly. Michael knows it to the point where he'll now say to me, "Did you get enough sleep last night? Because you're kind of grouchy." Sleep is a really powerful way of taking good care of ourselves. And another class that we'll be talking about is called The Power of Rhythm and Routine. One of the most important routines that we can practice is going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. Now, not in a neurotic sort of every single day way, but the idea is to, generally speaking, begin to build this rhythm in so that your body can get used to going to sleep at the same time and waking up at the same time. It is my secret weapon, Joanne. And this is a great example. If you were to just focus on this one change and for the next 30 days decide that I'm going to test it, I'm going to see how I feel, how my mood changes, how my physical health changes, how my eating habits change, how my relationships change. For every night for 30 days, just decide that you're going to do your best to go to bed around the same time and wake up at the same time. And I'm telling you, you probably will, you'll just become a different woman. You really will. You'll like yourself a whole lot more. These are some examples of what we're going to be dealing with during the year-long course. It's one of my favorite courses. I think it's one of my most important courses because it really does change people's lives. The first time I ran this course, we had over 1,000 people take it, and I still till this day get email from people saying, you know what, I am not the same human being ever since I dedicated a year to my extreme self-care. And that's what I want for you. I want for you to commit. It's a small commitment, one class a month. You practice one way of taking good care of yourself every day for 30 days. That's pretty simple in this day and age. You make that consistent, and I'm telling you, you'll feel relief pretty quickly, and you will absolutely give yourself the gift of living a life that reflects who you really are. And you're going to stop saying things like, at the end of the day, I'm always the one left over without any energy, feeling like everybody else has been taken care of but me. You deserve to be taken care of first, and that's what I want for you. So please go to hayhouse.com, look up The Art of Extreme Self-Care. You can also go to CherylRichardson.com, go to my schedule page. You'll see a link there, and I look forward to seeing you on February 12th. Thanks so much for watching the video, and take good care of yourself.